Hey, Pink Balls here. Um, Finally got some free time, and I'm gonna do. Let's see, what am I gonna do a tutorial on? Um, I guess we'll do. Fuck, I don't know. Let's do the skin modifier. How about that? All right. So we're gonna open 3ds Max. Now the skin modifier is used to oh, what's he saying? Um, the skin modifier, as you know, is used to you it's what wraps the skin around skeletons and makes the mesh move with the skeleton. You have to actually skin it and give the skin weight with the bones in order to make it move in animations and whatever. But why is this important to you? If you ever want to make a new soldier for the game, do any kind of changing to the skeleton or anything, you're gonna have to do some skinning. Other than that, this is not really important for anything really. That's pretty much it. Only has one use, but it's a hard thing to learn. For some people, and it's useful once you know how to use it if you're doing this kind of stuff. So I'll just start off and show you kind of how this works and what it does. I'll just start off by making a couple bones here, and we'll just do a skin wrap around them. Alright, so we have these 3 bones right here. Let me just lengthen this one up a little bit. Alright, so I'm gonna put a piece of mesh around these bones. Move these bones on up to the center of the mesh. Okay, so we have our mesh here. So now obviously you can see if I move the skeleton, the mesh isn't going to move with it, of course, because it's not skinned. So how do we skin it? Alright, well, let me make some vertices for this thing to attach itself to first, real quick. I guess we can do 2 per bone. Yeah, that'll work. Alright, so when you go to first start the skin modifier, you're going to want to have your mesh selected. And you're going to want to have your skeleton inside your mesh. Try to keep the skeleton in the spot. If there's a spot that's going to bend on the mesh, you're going to want the skeleton to be exactly where it should be. Say a human, you would want the bending of the knee to be right where the knee is, because if you don't have it right where it needs to be when you skin it, when you bend the legs and such, it can sometimes go a little haywire and make it look not so great. It can do all kinds of bending and pulling. I have an example of a mesh that I skinned, and I can show you what I'm talking about in just a minute. But let me start doing this first. Alright, so you're going to want to have your mesh selected, and you're going to go onto your modifier list and find skin. And before I do that, I'm going to add a couple vertices this way as well. Alright. Let's find skin here. There it is, skin. Alright. Now we have our mesh selected. We don't want it to be on edges there. Just make sure you don't have edit poly selected. So you're going to select edit envelopes. Whoops. Wait, what is this doing? Oh, sorry. I'm being dumb. Okay, you have to add your bones. You just hit add right here. You add whichever bones that you wanted to skin. Sometimes it's best to do them one at a time. Sometimes you can just throw them all on there once you get familiar with the skin modifier. Then you're going to go to edit envelopes and you're going to select vertices. Now, what we're going to do here is we're actually selecting each vertice on this mesh. And here, let me add a couple this way as well. We're selecting the vertices on the mesh, and that's what the skeleton is attaching itself to and is going to move with. Or sorry, opposite way around. The vertices are going to move with the skeleton. But just make sure you include the vertices, and whichever bone that you're selected on down here is the bone that you're going to be selecting for the mesh up here. Now this kind of automatically did this for me for the most part, but I'm going to do it myself a little bit anyway. Let me zero out the scale on this thing. Alright. So now none of these bones should be weighed with the mesh. Well, the other ones are, but this one isn't. Alright, so what you're going to do to get this bone skinned is you're going to select the vertices that you want that bone to control, and then you're going to have to do something called weighing them using the weight table. And this is not a fun process. It's not for the weak-hearted. It's really just a pain in the ass. But I'm going to select one of these over this bone, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. So this area is pretty much the mesh that I want this bone to control. So I'm going to go into the weight table here, and we're going to look at this. Now I'm going to go down here and select selected vertices. What that means is that it's only the vertices that I have highlighted out here. So now, as you can see, that's still quite a bit of vertices. I'll zero these out. But here what you have to do is, this is each vertice, and you have to give each vertice a weight. So this goes in 1.000, or sorry, 0.000 is the how the scale registers. So if you want this to be full strength on one vertice here, you would want to put in 1.0 and hit enter, and it would give it a full 100% weight of 1. A short way to do this is to hit control and left click on it, or don't hit control and right click, and that will put it at 0, which is no control. If it's going to be sharing power, let's say this bone over here, and this bone here, if they were sharing, well, no, let me just do it the simple way first. If these two bones are going to share a piece of mesh, like for instance at a bend like right here, you would want one to have half the control and the other one to have half the control. So you would put 0.5 enter, and it would even them out. They both have half control. So let me zero this out again. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give these pieces, these vertices, sorry,